What's up, traders, and welcome to the Trader Roundup Dubai Special. I'm here with the top traders in the industry, and we are going to be discussing AI, inspiration, Dubai itself, of course. So, in this episode, as you know, we are all about getting together with highly attuned, like minded traders to become 1% stronger each and every day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. Okay, so the next looks like we're on time. So now we're gonna just be discussing anything really. If you guys wanna grab your mics, just give me a quick sound check, and then we can just start the next part of the
Testing.
conversation.
Yeah, you can hear. So Rod, how would this software quantify, positive behaviors that might put you on tilt, like overconfidence? I would say, like, when I'm on a really good streak, let's say if I have a couple positive traits, because I noticed mostly that a lot of the C game traits were negative. But do you think that there's a way to quantify, I guess, overly positive traits that might put you eventually on tilt?
Absolutely. So it's not just negative. Um, it's not just negative primary and secondary behaviors. It's also positive. So when there is too much positive, too highly positive charged emotions, of course that causes tilt. We know that. The euphoria itself, we can, with the research of euphoria, it causes memory loss, short-term memory loss, and that is not what you want when you're when you're in the zone. In fact, it knocks you out of the zone. And so what the AI does, because it has access to the knowledge base, and it will have a knowledge base for every single trader individually, but also as a collective. But it will remember and understand your negative and positive behaviors. And so when you talk with it, it would then, if you tell it, I'm feeling rather confident, I'm feeling quite euphoric, I kind of want to push a little bit more today, it will then respond to you with the appropriate response, which is, according to your standard operating procedure, after X amount of wins or X amount of trades today, you will no longer trade until the next session. You are going to reset, review, recalibrate. I highly recommend that you do this, Kyle, because in the past, when you've done this, it tends to lead to an 83% probability that you're going to lose the next trade. And so it will gather the data based on what you've told it, but as well, when you start tracking the positive behaviors and habits, and it has access to all of this data. It has access to that, and it stores it in a library. So it is literally, the more you speak to it, the more you feed it with primary, secondary behaviors, real emotions, the more accurate the responses are. All right, I'm gonna grab a seat with you guys. Dan.
How's it going? Are you well? Oh, I was supposed to say something. What do you want me to say? I like it. It's good.
Yeah. No, no, no. I mean, like, now this is the trader roundup. So, we don't need to talk about AI. We can talk about whatever. So, how's your trip to Dubai been so far?
Sick. Look at look at all of you mofos sitting there. I can't be happier. I'm gassed. Dubai's good. Dubai's obviously a place where you network and work a lot. I think that if you actually take the spin on a lot of things, I'm from the UK, and so a lot of you guys I think I'm like the only father here. I don't know. No, a few fathers. So main thing about Dubai is safety for the kids. So that's why I think, you know, you've got to look at the longer term vision. So I think tying it back into this, my notes are mainly on myself, but really and truly, if you don't kind of keep reviewing on everything you can improve in general anyway, you're not going to exceed. And it doesn't matter about trading. I'm talking about cash flow. I'm talking about some other businesses and things like that. And then to make these dreams become a reality for your family. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just randomly spewing nonsense.
Who else has been to Dubai before?
Yeah, I've been twice before. Last time was 13 years ago. So yeah.
Has it changed much?
Yeah, it's a lot more built up now. I mean, my parents had an apartment in the marina, and it was just there was no one here. Back then, in 13 years ago, there was like the restaurants were empty. It just wasn't as built up. There's so much more. They're just building and building loads. But yeah, no, it's brought back a lot of memories. Come full circle. Because last time I came, obviously, was like when you know my story. I made what I made and then brought my family here. So yeah, it's just nice coming back here on a high again and just reminiscing and just move forward, man. Just keep moving forward, yeah. But just with regards to this, obviously, like, we have journaling software, like websites like this are in place to track our metrics already, right? Like hard data, all exists already. But if I understand it right, you've found a way to combine it with inputting your emotions and how you feel using AI to give you specific, like, hard data stats and improve you as a trader, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, exactly.
I love it, man. I love it.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Anyone else been to Dubai before? Why? What brings you to Dubai?
Now I've been here for last few years, pretty much spent a good amount of time, so 2-3 months at a time. And for me, it's the most important thing is safety. It's safe, it's hot, it's nice, and I've also seen it had a direct impact on my performance. For example, yesterday, out in the sun, and just recharge, get ready for the week ahead, mentally, big impact as well. For example, the London Open session is it's later, 3 hours later, and so it gives you time, just in the morning, prepare yourself up, trade the London session, then you have the whole day for yourself as well. Go to the gym, spend some time in the sun, and the other main important thing is tax-free. So yeah, there's not much, and like when you come out here, there's not much you cannot like. I mean, there's something for everybody, family-wise, kids-wise, it's safe. So yeah, and also just going back with this as well. Yeah, I really like the combination with the hard data. So, and I think data in today's world is the biggest key thing. And I think as traders, it's one thing we overlook. As in, like, how am I going to quantify my emotional data? Like, I'm not going to sit down and reflect and write, okay, today is how I was feeling. And I think that's where a lot of the traders lack, is where they're not willing to put in that work. Like, they'll have, for example, a losing day and then just try to think over it, but not take any action on how to improve it. So they forget about it, then go the next day and then repeat the same process over and over again. And again, it's then on a decline. Whereas for something like this, you can quantify that data. And like you said, like, for example, the next losing trade is 83% probability of you losing that trade. When you see that hard fact in front of you, then it's more likely to take action on it. If you don't have that data in front of you, then you're unlikely to not take the appropriate action for it.
Yeah, exactly. And as traders, well, we're essentially recognizing patterns on price action, right? But how about we start to recognize patterns in our behaviors and emotions, because they become repetitive. And so if you can understand these patterns and know when you're going to smash it, when you're in flow, and know also when you are perhaps prone to make a mistake, if you know that information with hard data, it's incredible. But one thing that I'm noticing, or one of my hypotheses, is that there is no way you can replace human accountability versus a machine. And so this is why I'm even though it looks like I may be replacing me, I'm not. you still need a human element there for accountability. It's like, imagine trying to automate a personal trainer. I mean, we have these watches that essentially does that for us now, but do we have does it give us the same accountability than a human personal trainer? It doesn't, right?
Mm.
Anyone had personal training here before?
I'd bear.
Yeah. And what's the difference between when you train by yourself and when you train with a PT?
Oh, I just don't think, innit? You just get a PT and just do. That's simple.
It's
But
not.
if they have the plan written out, like I always say, dream with an organized plan. It makes the dream become a reality. So if you have that organized plan built by someone who's already done it, you model that. And then once you model that, you will find your own success to get that.
What I love about what you just said is that there's no thinking.
Yeah.
You just do.
Just do.
And that's what you need when you're in the middle of a trading session. You need to be in automated. You need to have understand exactly what you're gonna do when particular when something changes in price action. You need to be able to adapt and understand where you are in your system like that. There's no thinking. That's why if you guys raise your hands if you've ever been in a trading session and it feels like you are not feeling any emotions, like you're just in flow. Yeah, this is automation. This is the flow state. And it takes a while to get there. But once you understand, you can actually trigger the flow state on command. It doesn't last very long, by the way. It requires a lot of brain power. So 90 minutes to 2 hours is around the time to get there. But you can actually start pushing that to 4 6 hours as well. I'm not quite there yet, 4 6 hours in flow. But when you're in flow, it's all about reducing and minimizing as many distractions. Well, actually, all distractions as possible. So you're just fully focused on what's happening. And then you can gradually increase the duration of that flow state. But I mean, as traders, we don't need more than 90 minutes to 2 hours anyway.
Yeah. Just touching on Riz's point and yours as well. I feel like people don't self-reflect in general with their trading, right? And then the other part of that is that people might not know how to self-reflect, right? So I think something like this tool here could be powerful to help people really understand where they might be going wrong or having those bad habits, right? Because we're all prone to these bad habits, no matter how good of a trader you are, right? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. So it just takes one trade to fall off, or a series of losses, and then you might be out for a month and make no money, right? Vice versa, you might be on a crazy run, just making all these big wins, and then it can come tumbling down. So yeah, I think like self-reflection and accountability are very, very important, and they're heavily downplayed because people tend to focus on a strategy. But the thing is, you can have thousands of different ways to trade. You really can trade in any single way. And like we've got obviously ICT traders, and then you got retail traders, or whatever you want to call them, right? So there's really no one way to trade. But I think what it comes down to is the psychological aspect. And I think that was a game changer for me in my journey so far, is where I just stopped really trying to focus on like strategy hopping, keep it very basic to an extent where you need to know the foundations, and then you just build on that gradually. It really doesn't matter how you trade. It just comes down to, obviously discipline, but like you said, the mental edge, right? And I think everybody's mental edge is different because, again, like your personality traits dictate how you trade, right? So for example, if you're a gambler, by nature, you're going to have gambling habits when you start trading. And to get out of that spiral is very difficult, like very difficult. And I think there's probably less than 1% that can even do that. Whereas if you're much more of like, not disciplined, but a calmer person, you take things very slow, you'll probably have more likelihood of longevity in the game, So that's what I learned in my journey personally, where I just used to try and go for the big wins. And then I realized that actually I don't need more than 1 to 3% a month if you have a certain amount of capital. For example, look at Kyle, he's got 5 million in funding. I mean, 1% on that is crazy, right? So I think people need to focus on the long game and really understand what they're trying to accomplish here, because you need to treat trading as a business. You don't treat it as just like a one-time thing. Oh, I've made some money and then I'm out, because trust me, that money does not last long. So I think it's just Yeah, well, yeah. So if we go to Dubai now, I mean, you need a lot of money to be living here, even like as a basic individual. But one thing I will say about Dubai, so I the first time I came here was about 3 years ago, and I've been here a few times since, and it's a great place to network. Very good place, you know. Like you could meet anyone, and there's a lot of people here that are very humble in terms of they don't care about your status to a certain extent. Of course, there are some people like that. So you can really network with anyone and grow as an individual, and other people can be helping you along the way. Because I've even had that, like last year I met somebody quite big in the industry and very humble guy, and I wouldn't expect him to even talk to me, but he did. So it's all about who you meet, how you are as a person. You need to carry yourself a certain way as well. You can't expect to have a good base around you, a good network around you, but then not. It's not about even bringing value. To a certain extent, of course, you need to bring some value, but you need to understand what you're doing, not just with your trading, but in your life as well, right? Because that all dictates everything as a whole. So yeah, that's all I had to say.
But just on that as well, I think one thing Riz was saying I thought was sick was recharging. Like, I think, I don't know about how many of you guys, but we're always pushing and pushing. Like, trading is very subpar for me. Everything else is just driving, father, husband, businesses, all of these things. But just being able to recharge, bro. When you're in a state like an environment like that, look at that, man. It's looking sick out there and good vibes. Just, I don't need a lot of time. Just need a couple of hours just to reset. And then performance also does that, because trading is direct correlation as well to some degree. Business as well, flow state, when you're saying that's also with business, to how much you get done, the productivity, everything. However, if you're not recharged, you're burning the candle, and it's like squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And I was like saying that to the other Riz as well. You just got to kind of make sure you let go. So then when you do, you have more mental capacity, more battery in yourself to do more, to achieve more, to perform more, and just be able to give more as well. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that's really important to recharge. I love that one. You got something to say to that?
Guys, I just want to say, on a side note, we're going to be making some reels of this. So I want yeah, no. Just like, it'll be good for you guys, each of you, to say something, and then I'm going to cut it up for you guys so you can make a reel out of it. So yeah, just speak up.
Carrying on with what Umar said, I believe a lot of this game is self-reflection, and tools like this will be monumental and a game changer for the rest of the industry for years to come. This is the next MetaTrader. This is the next trading view. This is going to be the new standard, and this will limit the downside. Whether it's a winning streak or a losing streak, you will manage that psychological or physical capital better with tools like this at your disposal. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I think a couple of you guys also mentioned it too, as far as like self-awareness. I think a lot of people think that they're in a really good state when they're actually not. And I kind of noticed that for me personally, every time we go through a winter season, and I'm in New York, so the winters are quite brutal, I find myself going through a period of depression. And I think a lot of people don't admit that. I think a lot of people might be stuck in that state where they think that they're doing okay. You ask somebody, oh, I'm doing great, and really they're not doing great, And I think a lot of people should really look inside and figure out, how do I avoid something like that? For me personally, I'm probably just going to move away in the wintertime. I hate the wintertime. I don't leave the house. The sun goes down at like 4 p.m. It's very unproductive to my flow state, really. And I find that it takes me a couple months even to get out of that. So going through springtime, it takes me a while to get up and running again. And I'm just going to try and completely avoid those periods. That way I can stay on top of my performance and not have to feel like I'm taking, 2 steps backward to take 1 step forward.
One of the things that I would say that is also really sick ever since Miami is that you never know what you don't know. And that it was so clear that when we went to Miami and I was exposed to people making 6 figures a month, I was like, oh, okay, there's levels to this, because like we've always heard that oh, there's people that make 50 mil a month here. Yeah, okay, but we're not really exposed to it. We haven't yet seen it. But like getting to know people and getting to befriend people that are actually in that next level that you want to achieve, I think that was one of the biggest things that changed it for me, because I remember before Miami, I wasn't risking a lot with I was being way more conservative than I'm being now, because I was like fearful of making money in the market. And then when I got exposed to all the traders in Miami, I was like, oh yeah, like there's levels to this, and like there is the possibility of making great returns from this. Even though I knew, but even then, like everyone that I'm surrounded with makes like $800 a month, like, you know. So if you make 3,000, you're a king. You don't you don't want to be a king making 3,000, right? So being exposed to new people, that's why Dubai is sick. That's why meeting new people is sick. But yeah, overall, very grateful for getting to meet everyone, and yeah, we're all looking forward to more. Is making 50K a month, and you're making three. You are going to step up, because that's what you have to do. And it's not even like, oh, I'm going to force it. It's like, no, like slowly but surely you will see that, okay, it's going to push you up. So yeah, it's definitely worth it to be here and meet everyone here. So yeah.
So picking up on the meetups, like those are very nice to be around those very successful traders all around, and picking the brains, looking what they're up to. But in the end, trading is still a one-man show. Even though you're in communities, online or offline, you're still making the trades yourself. So on this AI model, like when you have someone behind you all the time, this is a game changer for most people, because I think most retail traders, they're in between like the first 3 months or first year. They already know that the mental point is a big issue. So, but it's pretty hard to tackle it, and especially for new traders, to pick up the game, to journalize, to find out what's up in their mind, is hard, and they just repeat the mistakes. So if you get reminded day by day from beginning to end, I think it helps a lot for those. So I think it's a real game changer in the end.
Alright, so I just want to add, it's probably relatable to a lot of you guys where like 2 years ago, for example, I was just like in my bedroom trading, and it's just like you on the screen. And now obviously like 2 years later, like I'm around like-minded people. For example, you know, you've got Kyle who's funded like God knows how much. Like payouts for Pascal is I don't know how much. Like you know what I mean? So it's like the environment you're in makes a big difference. So, and then even like social media presence, for example, with me personally, I used to only use Instagram, and I didn't really used to use Twitter. But I was too scared to post on Instagram because that's where my friends were. So I was like, let me start posting on Twitter first, because you know no one's gonna know me. So me personally, I just started posting, you know, payouts, some charts, and then slowly started to see people enjoy it, and some of the messages that you receive, which people don't see, a lot of you guys probably get as well, like it's life changing, like the sort of impact you're having. Some people even use you as motivation, and it's sort of crazy in a way, thinking, you know, 2 years ago you're just sitting there clicking buttons essentially on a screen, and now people are like, using you as motivation. So yeah, so that's one aspect, and then just generally speaking, being around like-minded people, you know, people that understand you as well. So, for example, with my friends, if I have a bad week, they won't understand. They'll just be like, oh, what do you mean you just click buttons for a living? But they don't see the mental aspect of it. Whereas, you know, being with other traders, they understand. So, you know, when they communicate with you, it's sort of a different type of understanding and feeling, if that makes sense. So, yeah. And then, obviously, the other thing about Dubai is tax-free. Let's be real, everyone's coming because it's tax-free. So, now, but in general, even like the safety, you know, for me personally, I would like to consider I'm quite young, I'm 25. But even like the long-term vision, sort of, you know, do I really want my kids to grow up somewhere where, you know, at the back of my mind, I might be thinking about the safety. You know, here, for example, you know, if I have wife and kids, they could go out at 3 a.m. and I don't need to really worry about it. So yeah, having that short-term and sort of long-term vision in combination helps. So yeah.
Yeah, you touch on something really important, and it's those traders, the majority, because let's be honest, guys. This in this room right now is the 0.01%. Yeah, that's the fact. And when we get those messages of other traders who are lost, they don't understand what it takes to reach this level, but they're trying to. They have that desire, they have the ambition, right? And when we provide that value and we donate that time, we donate that knowledge, for me, that is more fulfilling than it is winning a trade. Because when you allow when you share knowledge, it's a very powerful thing, because knowledge that is not shared, it becomes, it loses its value, right? Knowledge is meant to be shared. And so each of us in this room have a responsibility to always reach out and help others. However, you need to be very careful at what point you do that, because first you need to reach this level. You need to reach a new platform, a new height, before you can reach down and help others. And that takes time. So sometimes we have to be a little bit selfish. We have to really focus on ourselves, focus on building the right frameworks and processes for your money, how you handle your wealth, things like, jurisdictions, taxes, setting your family up, setting yourself up. These are very important things. But one thing that I've also realized recently, and with the rise of the prop firm, is that it's united us, guys. And I've created, well, because of this sort of rise in this industry, I've created these amazing relationships and long-lasting brotherhood. And that's something that I've only experienced that with family, actual related family. But now I feel so much closer to you guys, in a family type of level, and that to me is so motivating. It is so inspiring, and when I see you guys win, it feels so good. And it's like when you see others win, it's like you win twice, right? Especially if you are there for them at some point to provide either tactical or emotional support. Sometimes it's just getting on the phone and just listening to them, because like Rahat, what you're saying, we go through shit, we go through family issues, we go through health issues, and everyone thinks that it's all good, but deep down it's not, and it hurts. So as men, yeah, we need to be strong, but that also means, if you've got stuff happening in your head, don't keep it to yourself. Look around you, reach out to someone, and talk to them. Yeah, don't suffer in silence, because then that's going to have a negative impact on, not only on your trading, but also on your loved ones. And it's not fair on them, that as well, if you're not able to come out of these sort of mental drawdowns, because then you take it out on them, and it's not fair on them. So it's our responsibility to help each other out and be there for each other. And if you feel, like it's a bit personal, then get yourself a counselor, right? There is professional help out there that you can talk to those guys. So I highly recommend, don't suffer in silence, guys. Honestly, mental health for men is a serious thing. And so if you're in a good place and you see someone that perhaps is struggling, reach out to them. Don't wait for them to reach out to you. Reach out to them and just say, yo, bro, what's up, man? How you doing? Do you want to meet up for a coffee? Because we always spend this time. I mean, texting is not enough. You have to be with that person, right? Face to face. Make the effort, guys, because one day you never know when you might need it.
100%. Just going back on inspiring as well. So one of the things I always say, and I kind of want to just share, and it's like a loving moment in sharing with you guys. I always say I'm the man I wanted to be when I was 18, in a sense. Like, that guy's nice, he's integral, he's honor, he has sincerity, he's doing bits, he's doing okay in money and stuff. But that's me, and you know, the saying's me versus me, you versus you, but you guys as well. If you think about it, I just had that realization. If you think maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3, I don't know how many years, each one of you is different. You guys have become that person you wanted to be. You're maybe not there just yet, but to some extent, you've definitely got further. I think that's just so fucking sick. So it's nice just to be able to share this, but at the same time, on what you said for other people, that also, no disrespect to everyone in here, there's no reason why no one else can do what we're doing. Like, we're all normal, we've got eyes, nose, mouth, and ears, all have different stories, just like you said, but bro, literally anyone can come in if they had the tenacity and the true essence to really, really want to be someone. Like, anyone here, it doesn't have to be just anyone, you can do it. You can do it. No one in here is like special, we're all unique, but no one's better than one or the other. That's simply it. Dubai story? What kind? What kind of Dubai story do you want to know? Network? You want to hear a networking one? That was smart at me. You joker. I guess I go on a networking one. Wait, I need to be careful which ones to speak about.
What about crazy experience? What's the craziest experience in Dubai?
Not much. Just every time I'm here, I'm grateful. I think every time I'm in Dubai, I'm able to really step a bit back. In the UK, I'm always going. That's why when you said recharge, bro, it hits my soul. Because like I said, on the Saturday when I got here, I was just like partying and doing my thing. But I needed that. I needed that break. Like, I work 300, whatever, like, there's only 3 days I rest in a year. So for me, just to go hammer one day. And every time you come to Dubai, you have that ability to do that. Because here is about concierge. Everything is about service. And I'm all about that service. But it doesn't mean you treat anyone bad. That's a really big thing I really dislike to some degree at certain places. But here it's always good to relax and recharge, and I love it here. But I think on the networking, I guess the only thing about stories is you seize an opportunity when you're in the right place at the right time. And the first one that comes to my head is I love cars. And I couldn't get a car in the UK because Brad knows we always joke about it, but if you have anything nice in the UK, it gets ruined. Can't wear a watch, can't have a nice car, my car got keyed. So here I wanted just to test out the new 2023 G-Wagon. Met another guy who had the same one, but he also has the penthouse in the Address Marina. And then he goes, oh, literally, I rented exactly the same color car as him. And we're like, friends. And then he was like, yeah, is that? And I was like, straight away, it's rental before you think it's mine. You're mine. And I'm not going to try and say this is mine. And he goes, oh, no, this is mine. And he's like, the Patek on his hand. I'm like, wow, this guy's at another level already. And then he goes, yeah, come, let me show you my cars. And I was like, oh, he's got more cars here. We go up to the top floor, and then he's literally got 1.5 million worth of cars made back. It's the new Performante, SDOs, like just cars in general. Meet him 3 days, he's wearing 3 different watches. But the great thing, yeah, in the penthouse, but that's only his like work. He only stays there for work, so he has the, in the dress, he's got like 5-10 cars, and then in his house villa, he's got more cars. But regardless of that, that is great because you get to see levels, right? Okay, materialistic things are levels, but on the flip side, he's super humble. Not only is he super humble, he's also super willing to help. So then that goes on what Imzi was saying, there's so many people here that are humble and willing to help you. I think that if you are bringing back down to what I say is the honor, integrity, and sincerity to yourself, like when you're true in your morals, people respect that and you can't bullshit. Someone else will always respect that, and they will help you where they can. They don't want to help you just because like, oh, there's value. Because I see something in you like me, and I respect that, and there's mutual respect, especially as men, you respect. That's the big thing in our life. And then they're willing to help you. So thanks to him, there's been loads of networking, the incorporation, lawyers, accountants, even networking, even villas, investment opportunities. A lot of things have come just from one way, for having a G-Wagon. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's probably one of the ones I could talk about and share. But it's fun, yeah, and that was really, really an eye-opener, because he comes from zero as well. I think you respect, like, when you come from zero, you respect someone else who's come from zero. It's no, like, I think people who come from money, just want to put that out there as well, people who come from money, there's nothing wrong with that, because that's the cars that we dealt with. Do you know what I mean? That's blessed, that's going to be my son, like, whatever. But when you've come from nothing, there's a little bit of, you know what that you had to do to get there. Do you know what I mean? Everyone here has suffered to some degree, and you know, like, oh, damn, that was tough times. But yeah.
I think, and just on that, those who come from money also come with their own challenges. Absolutely. Because then, you know, good times breed soft men. And if you're a soft man, you're not going to be able to make money, and you're going to just rely on your parents. And we see that so many times. and it's cringe when you come from money and you're lazy, complacent, and yeah, it's just cringe as a man. So even those who come from money, you still need to be so disciplined, and you still need to network. You still need to better yourself. So there's no excuse, to be honest. There's no excuse. Some people may have advantage over others, but if you just throw that away, then
Yeah, it's
what's the
true.
point?
I guess on the bounce back of that, you get 22, right? Like you get poor people stay poor, and you get rich people go poor. Rich people.
Adding to what Dan said at first, I believe we're very fortunate to be traders because it forces you to be growth oriented. And also adding to, I grew up to be greater than I ever thought I could be. And that was a while ago, and I keep going, and I'm still in my 20s. So if you do take this journey, understand that the exponential of you don't know what's going to happen. You need to be ready for anything and be prepared to just keep growing, keep pushing, and ascend to the next level. How can I be better? Do I deserve more? Can I do more? Do I want more? Of course. What am I doing to make sure my actions compound positively? And then how great can you be? Something I whiteboarded my whole wall. I painted it. I want to see how great life can get, and I write quotes everywhere. I was actually choked up this morning on the phone with my girl about it, actually crying about this journey I've had over these past 2 years and just the ascent and then what's to come, and then being here is just, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Honored to be here. Thank you.
I think just to touch on Dan's earlier point and also MK's, I think we're all normal people, right? And it just comes down to how bad do you want it? Because a lot of people, they're not willing to put in the work, and then they wonder why they can't reap any rewards, right? So it was the same thing for me, where I knew I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. Like I went to uni, done a master's degree, all of that doesn't mean much to me, right? It might mean something to other people, which is perfectly fine, right? Because each to their own, like you said, me versus you, right? So I think ultimately it just comes down to, sort of like, what do you want in life? Because trading is the only thing I believe in life that will test you to the limits that you will never be able to understand. Like it will literally fuck you up so bad, bring you down to rock bottom, or you could be up in the sky. So and that could be within the space of a day, literally. So I think if you can weather the storm, which for some people could take 2 years, some people could take 5, 10 years, whatever, 15, 20, whatever it may be, right? It just comes down to you, right? So whatever you're happy with in life. So you need to understand that everybody wants different things in life, but the goal is the same. If you're trading, in my opinion, it's you just want to be free. You want freedom, right? Because we don't want to be stuck in this rat race. There's a reason why you stuck at it and you haven't gone back to a job. Some people do, don't get me wrong, they lose a shit ton of money or even a small amount of money. Oh, I need to go back to work and make some money. Rather than, no, how do I actually make this money back? Because that's what I did. Like when I started, I lost 20 grand within the first year. And I was like, and that was, to me, that was a lot of money back then, I was like, shit, like, I'm broke, like, what am I gonna do? And then eventually, if you stick at it, you make it back, you make more, and then you 10x that, and then you keep carrying on, right? And what everybody should be doing is using the network around them to motivate themselves, right? A lot of people start to compare. I don't feel like you should compare yourself to other people. To an extent, setting yourself some targets, yes. But if you start playing the compare game, you're already, adding this downfall mentality to yourself. And I feel like overall, it's not going to help you grow. It really depends how you do it. So if I look at someone that's making more money than me, I'm like, that's fantastic. I love that. I'm going to get there someday, but I'm not going to be like, oh, well, they've made this now. I need to make that right now. No, because everybody's journey is different. Growth is an individual thing. And just to go back to Pascali's point, right, where he said that you're the one making the trade. No one's trading for you. You're trading yourself. So ultimately, that's what it comes down to, right? You're responsible for everything you do. Nobody's responsible for you. Only you're responsible for yourself. So that's where the whole accountability and everything else comes into play, and people really need to focus on that. Because if you're trading 5 years and you made no money, or you've not got a system where you're even a bit profitable, there's something wrong, right? Like, it's not rocket science. So I think sometimes you just go back to basics and you'll see, like, it'll make a big difference in your journey, So that's all I wanted to say.